My name is Stacy Street, Chief Operations Officer for RCF Connects, formerly Richmond Community Foundation. Today, we're going to discuss transformational philanthropy in the context of radical transformational leadership. I am not only a longtime nonprofit and foundation leader, I am also a longtime practitioner and practitioner coach in the radical transformational leadership tools. Transformational philanthropy is fueled by values of generosity, equity, and courage, resulting in sustainable, immediate, and long-term results and prosperity for all. Philanthropy to date has helped tremendously to generate certain outcomes, and yet our communities are still experiencing persistent social issues. The field is asking itself at this critical moment, what's missing? How do we shift philanthropy to address and transform complex underlying factors, continuously giving rise to these social issues so a new reality and narrative can emerge?
Greetings. My name is Barbara Clifton Zarate. I'm Director for Economic Opportunity at the Marin Community Foundation. I'm also a RTL practitioner coach. My own personal transformation inspired a drive to bring RTL to Marin. Over the years, the Marin Community Foundation has partnered with Impact Launch to bring RTL to create enduring, equitable change in philanthropy and in communities across Marin. Our communities are facing unprecedented times in the face of climate, health, and economic crisis, and an amplified demand for racial justice. These challenges have also come with a powerful opportunity for equitable change in how we do our work, in systems, in policies, in organizations and practices. We will highlight a few examples of how our philanthropic institutions are supporting transformational leadership capacity for sustainable and equitable results, as well as the transformation of our own philanthropic practices. Before we share more, first, you will hear about radical transformational leadership from those leading the work.
So now we will hear from a community member and changemaker in Marin County who participated in a program based on radical transformational leadership called Leadership for Equity and Opportunity in Marin, supported by Marin Community Foundation. Let's hear from Florencia.
The project that I have, it's addressing the food insecurities, but also the health disparities in our community. I'm actually right now working to create opportunities for our low-income families because right now 1 in 5 community residents in Marin are at risk of food insecurity. Food insecurity is not just a problem for minorities. It's a system that is not working in this county. So we live in the system that is creating this lack of opportunity. So why not involve ourselves in a place, in a space where we can create changes that are sustainable? So I want to be back to my community and bring back the things that I'm learning about how to build collaboration or partnership and how to use simple but very meaningful, mindful actions that will definitely support us to achieve equity.
My name is Megan Joseph, and I am the co-founder of Impact Launch and longtime practitioner of radical transformational leadership. And I've worked with communities across the country, with philanthropic organizations, to transform how we do things for sustained equity. So I'm going to be engaging today in a conversation with the founder of Radical Transformational Leadership, Dr. Monica Sharma. She's the former director of leadership and capacity development for the United Nations. Tell us a little bit more about what radical transformational leadership is.
This framework does 3 things. Firstly, it is not about your strategy is incorrect. It's about knowing that our strategies are partial. And what this does is it connects with some large number of tools and templates. It connects practical engagement from who I am, how I strategize, the systems and cultural causes, and what I do. So the first thing is it moves from partial to full spectrum. And of course, we can talk about that name. The second is it really puts in the broadest, it puts in focus the underlying or root factors. And when we connect and strategize from there, we are able to transcend conventional patterns that are not working. So that's what the conscious full spectrum response is. And then the next, it is really about sophisticated simplicity. Philanthropists worldwide, and I work with them worldwide, Megan, are asking the same question. What are the sustained, enduring outcomes that our philanthropy must engage with, and the results it must have? So there's a lot of work being done, and much of that work is not connected to the larger, we call it fractal, the pattern for change. So how a philanthropist thinks is how a citizen thinks, is how you and I think. So suddenly we can take philanthropy to scale. And we know it's subject agnostic, which means you can use it for any sector. You can use it at any level. And it is a space where stakeholders and policymakers and philanthropists come together. And guess what? They think and co-create together. So it's for those who are passionate about equity.
And what is, if you had to name one or two things that make it stand out from others? There's so many leadership programs out there, right? And we're sort of inundated and oversaturated almost with programs called leadership programs. So what makes this stand out and different and reach the results that it has?
Yes. And in fact, there was a study by MIT that showed that a lot of leadership programs do not generate equitable results. So I'll begin there. The major thing that stands out is the way in which we relate to systems change. The shifts we create in a simple but effective way. That would be one. The second is that it is a template, a framework, a model, whatever you want to call it, that is based on the ethical dimensions of our work, equity, dignity for all. Nobody in the philanthropy world says that's not important. But do we know how to strategize to connect it into all our projects? That's what's different. Because most leadership programs are partial. They address it. They are useful and they generate something, but they don't generate a sustained, equitable impact in the work that's done.
And as our final closing thought, Monica, what do you see as possible as we begin to scale this approach within philanthropy at a greater level and truly start to see philanthropy shift toward a systems change approach, a community-centered approach, where equity is involved not only in the results that philanthropy wants to see, but in the process to get there?
Yeah, and I'd add another piece, Megan, and that is that in this work, every philanthropist, every citizen, everybody embodies values. It's not a rhetoric. So suddenly new possibilities open up. It is not a prescriptive model. So people engage in what they truly want. And then what is possible is that as we shift philanthropy, we presence equity worldwide. As we shift philanthropy, we presence dignity for everyone worldwide, not because it is part of the framework, it's because we connect in the process with ourselves and what we deeply care about. So it's actually the model for scale for any philanthropist.
Beautiful. All right. So we'll now hear from Barbara and Stacy again on how they're integrating this work into their philanthropic organizations. Thank you again, Monica, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Monica and Megan. Stacy, so how are you using RTL tools internally in your organization to create change?
Thank you, Barbara. So RCF Connects partnered with Impact Launch and used the RTL tools to develop its recent strategic plan. Using these tools not only enabled RCF to identify key milestones and strategies to accomplish our core value and goal of equity for all in our county, it also provided every staff member, board member, and key stakeholder with a way to participate in the process and understand their role in the plan. Two major shifts in transformational philanthropy RCF is focusing on in our plan are shifting from siloed, fragmented, and short-term approaches and resources to an alignment of approaches and resources that build long-term sustainability for equity and change. We're also focused on shifting from meeting immediate needs only to meeting immediate needs and supporting long-term outcomes and systemic change. Here are two ways we're working to accomplish those shifts. First, we realized that like leaders in our own community we wish to empower, our staff felt overwhelmed and were working in silos. So to support shifts we want to see in the community, we need to focus on our own organization first. Now that we have a shared commitment to our strategic goals and outcomes, we need to ensure staff feel supported and can work in collaboration across the organization to better accomplish these goals. Therefore, RCF is focusing on building an organizational culture and infrastructure that supports collaboration, as well as healing and shared responsibility and accountability. We've already developed and are implementing a collaborative grants seeking process across programs and departments, and are currently developing an intranet for clear communication and information sharing, as well as a collaborative 3-year budgeting process. RCF has committed to prioritizing health and well-being of our staff, to reviewing support systems annually to ensure we're creating and providing them with an equitable infrastructure, pay, professional development opportunities, and time and resources for care and healing. Focused on aligning financial, human, and other relevant resources to support current and long-term goals. We're valuing contributions differently in our reporting, and we're including time as part of our budget to support planning, evaluation, and generative conversations towards change. And finally, our budget process will use an asset-based approach, building budgets based on the impact we wish to have, as opposed to a deficit-based approach, building budgets based currently on only available funding.
Thank you, Stacy. At the Marin Community Foundation, we are investing in supporting the transformational leadership development of community change makers. We're shifting from talking about equity to taking concrete action on equity by developing synergistic partnerships, increasing the capacity and participation of community leaders at all levels of leadership, and partnering to design systems with equity at the forefront. One of the shifts the foundation is making is moving from fragmented approaches to aligned resources. We're investing in community leadership capacity for enduring change. We have fully funded RTL for over 500 community leaders in Marin County, all now using common language and tools to shift systems and practices towards enduring change. We've supported the development and offering of RTL for and by Spanish-speaking community leaders. MCF has resourced mini grants for participants and alumni to support their community projects. And this use of capital not only magnifies community priorities, but it leverages collective power. We have foundation staff that are participating in the program as well and are implementing the tools to transform their own work and the institution. What we understand is that we're supporting communities at the center. It's not philanthropy doing to and for communities, but with. We're listening and supporting and engaging and investing in what they know their communities need. We have a better understanding that it's about human capital and investing in the leadership in communities to create that paradigm shift. We are seeing a profound opportunity that RTL presents, seeing community members and leaders working differently and together towards equity. We're witnessing and experiencing profound change. These are just examples of what it takes to shift philanthropy, to drive equity and system change, and we look forward to doing more. Back to you, Megan, to close us out.
Thank you, Barbara, Stacy, Monica, Florencia, for sharing with us about radical transformational leadership. We invite everyone who cares deeply about creating change within their organizations and communities to learn more. This work is accessible to everyone, And we would love to share more about this incredible framework and these tools that are practical, useful in our everyday, and yet creating a lasting impact for the issues we care so much about. We'll see you soon.